All right, we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to jump back in time, way back, over 170 years, to unpack a wild legal drama. This is a story about a powerful judge, a huge company, and a secret. A secret that, believe it or not, ended up creating one of the most important rules that protects you and me in the modern world. It's all about how one single case made sure that justice isn't just about winning or losing, but about trusting the process itself.
So let me ask you something. I want you to really picture this. Imagine you're in court and you're suing a massive, powerful corporation. You got everything on the line. Now, what if you found out that the judge, the one person in the room who's supposed to be completely neutral, secretly owned a huge chunk of stock in the company you were fighting? How would you feel then? Would you trust the verdict, even if you won? Yeah, probably not. Just hang on to that feeling.
So let's set the scene. We're in London, the year is 1852. Think foggy streets, top hats, the whole Dickensian vibe. And we've got our key players. On one side, there's a company called the Grand Junction Canal. These guys were a huge deal, a massive infrastructure company for their time. And on the other side, a landowner named Dimes, and they were tangled up in a pretty nasty legal fight.
Now, this wasn't just some small-town dispute. Oh, no. This thing climbed all the way up the legal ladder, right to the very top. It landed on the desk of the Lord Chancellor. To put that in perspective for you, this guy was one of the most powerful judges in the entire British Empire. This wasn't just a court case, it was the legal world's final boss battle. The stakes were absolutely enormous.
Okay, so the arguments are made, the evidence is all laid out, and everybody waits for the Lord Chancellor to make his call. But this is the moment where things get interesting. What seems like a simple, everyday ruling is about to become a huge, history-making event, all because of a little secret that's about to come spilling out. And the verdict comes down. It's a win for the big guys. The Lord Chancellor sides with the Grand Junction Canal Company. So that's that, right? On the surface, it looks like case closed. The corporation wins, everyone go home. Well, not so fast, because our judge was hiding something pretty important. Turns out he wasn't just some impartial observer in all of this. He had a direct, personal, and very financial connection to the whole thing. And here it is, the big reveal. It came out that the Lord Chancellor owned a huge number of shares in the Grand Junction Canal Company. We're talking thousands of pounds worth, which was an absolute fortune back then. He had a serious financial stake in the success of the very company he had just handed a victory to. So, as you can probably guess, this new information changed everything. The case everyone thought was done and dusted was suddenly blown wide open. So, of course, it was appealed. And it went all the way up the chain, right to the highest court in the entire country, the House of Lords. They were the ones who had to decide if this kind of justice could actually be allowed to stand. And now the stage is set for this truly historic moment. The House of Lords had to tackle this problem head on. Were they really going to overturn a ruling from the most powerful judge in the empire just because of a conflict of interest? Their answer was going to echo for a very, very long time.
And at the heart of their decision, they reached back to this ancient, fundamental idea. They said, and I'm quoting here, that it is of the last importance that the maxim that no man is to be a judge in his own cause should be held sacred. They weren't just making a ruling, they were drawing a line in the sand about what justice means.
And this is the most important part, the key takeaway from the whole story. They overturned the decision. But, and this is a huge but, they were very clear that they weren't saying the Lord Chancellor was actually corrupt. They weren't saying his money did influence him. They said it didn't matter. The problem was that the whole situation looked biased. The mere appearance of a conflict was enough to invalidate the whole thing.
And so this one single ruling didn't just end a fight over a canal. It basically cemented this incredibly powerful legal idea that we now call the rule against bias. So let's break down what that really means, because it was a total game changer. You know, the idea itself is super old. It even has a fancy Latin name, nemo judex in causa sua. All that means is no one shall be a judge in their own cause. It's a simple concept, right? You can't be the referee in a game where you're also a player. But what this case did was give that ancient idea some serious modern-day teeth. And this comparison makes it crystal clear. Before this case, the old way to challenge a ruling was to prove actual bias. You'd basically have to be a mind reader and prove that the judge's brain was actually influenced. I mean, good luck with that, right? It's pretty much impossible. But the Dimes rule created a brand new, much stricter standard, the appearance of bias.
Now, all you have to do is show that the situation would make any reasonable person out there think, something about this doesn't feel right.
Okay, so a story about a Victorian canal company is a fun little history lesson, but why are we talking about it now? Why does it matter to you? Because the echo from that one decision is literally all around us today, protecting us in ways we might not even think about.
This principle is the reason why judges in so many places have to publicly list all their investments, so we can all see if there's a potential conflict. It's why you hear about a politician recusing themselves from a vote on a law that might affect a business they own. At the end of the day, this whole thing is about trust. It's the bedrock that makes us believe the system has a shot at being fair. It really all boils down to one of the most famous phrases in the entire legal world, which just perfectly captures the lesson from this case. Justice must not only be done, but it must be seen to be done. It's not enough for things to be fair behind closed doors. The whole process has to look and feel fair to everybody watching. That perception is everything.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If the appearance of fairness is so fundamentally important for us to trust our courts, where else in our lives is it just as critical? Think about your job, the news you consume, maybe even in sports or local government. Where else is the appearance of fairness absolutely essential for you to trust the outcome?